So let's see. Next up, we have Mia from YAP DAO. So Mia is getting ready, but I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. We're going to have an amazing day of DAOs today. So we're going to be going to Reflexer, Creator DAO. We're going to go to the Future of Service DAOs with Kyle Stargarden. Sparrow is going to be joining us. Jen will be back. We're going to have the Common Stack, Hero DAO, and Lex DAO today.
yeah,
So
sure.
today is going to
Let's
be a
see.
venture down through DAO land and learning all about some amazing stuff. So definitely stay tuned and learn about the creation and service DAOs. Today we're focused on DAOs that are doing things. So you'll learn about different ways that people are creating for other people and creating for their communities. So we'll definitely see a focus on how things are evolving and how you can participate in getting things done in a lot of different ways. So Hats Protocol was super cool. Nick mentioned that they have a Gitcoin grant. I definitely recommend everyone check that out. Until the 23rd, Gitcoin is having quadratic funding, which means that small donations will go a long way towards supporting public goods and projects that need it most. So they have anti-Sybil mechanisms that make sure that your funding will have matching, and that's what we have until the 23rd. So definitely check out gitcoin.co and find some amazing grants to support. And welcome, Mia. Welcome, Clement. How's it going, guys and ladies?
Hey, doing great. How are you?
I'm
Hey,
doing wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. I love
pleasure.
what YapDAO is doing. You guys have been key to the social kind of communications and telling people about projects. I'm excited what you'll tell us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you think
Awesome.
you
Thank
could
you.
introduce yourselves briefly and tell us more about YapDAO?
Yeah, great. I'll go ahead and share my screen. We prepared a little presentation, and yeah, thank you so much to Metagame and everyone for organizing this. You guys have been so supportive to us since we launched last summer, and we're really grateful to be part of this community. And yeah, let me open up my slides and I'll give a brief introduction of myself. So my name is Mia. I'm a full-time PR specialist. I've been in the space for a couple of years. I work full-time for YAP Global, and I'm also one of the founders of YAP DAO. So all of our work is based on trying to help projects communicate their messages and get media placements. So we're very bullish on the DAO space, on the crypto space. We want to see this go mainstream, and we're there to support projects in all of their communications needs. And I'm here with one of our other YAP DAO members, Clément, who can give you a little background about himself.
Hey, well, thank you for this little introduction. So I run a French media company called France Crypto. So I'm basically a journalist into the crypto industry, and I met Mia like 1 year ago during ETC, and she introduced me to the brand new DAO, the PR DAO, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I want to be part of it, and yeah, things were moving on really fast, and I've been on board, and I'm really proud to be into this DAO, and we are doing, I think, great job, great work with lots of other DAOs, and we met a lot of people, and yeah, I'm really thrilled to show you what we have in our pipe.
Yeah, awesome. So, to just give you a little background, as we mentioned, we were summoned last summer during ETHCC. So, we are part of the DAO House family. We launched on DAO House in July of 2021 with 4 core members. So, just for some context, YAP Global, that's a public relations agency based out of London. I'm part of the YAP Global team. It was founded in 2018. And so there were a couple of us working at this agency who got really interested in DAOs. And we thought, why not launch a PR DAO? There wasn't really anything like it at the time. we were starting to get a lot of requests from projects, from DAOs who wanted to work with us, but trying to work with a DAO and a traditional agency, you run into some roadblocks. We also realized that there was a huge talent pool kind of out in the world of other people doing this type of work, wanting to do marketing, PR, comms work for DAOs. So we just thought that creating a DAO, a PR and marketing DAO, was the most streamlined way to work with like-minded people and create a service model to service the industry. So we have our one-liner down here. YAP DAO is a community that provides communication and marketing support to the DeFi and DAO world. So that's what we do. And we wanted to just give you some background on our model and our workflow. So like I said, we are a service DAO. We were really inspired by Raid Guild, watching what they do. And we basically stole their model and applied it to our non-technical skills. So there are many projects out there who want communications and PR support. So what they do is they find us on Twitter, they find us on Telegram or Discord. We have a little form that we have projects fill out, and it just helps us assess what their needs are to see if it's a good alignment. Then after we get the interest from the projects, basically members of YAP DAO will self-align in our Telegram group. We'll discuss the project that wants work, and then people nominate themselves to take on the work. So it's very self-aligned. Like projects come to us, we kind of put it up to the DAO, and then people step forward and kind of raise their hands and say, hey, I want to work on this project. It looks really interesting. It's aligned with my passions. And then those members who want to take on the project, they form a working group, and they start chatting with the potential client with the project. So these working groups, they self-align, and they then determine what are the deliverables, like what work are we actually doing for this client and how are we going to measure it. They determine the payment. It's a very sliding scale. There's not really one approach. Every piece of work that we do is very tailored to the need of the project. Maybe you're just launching and you need us to help you with your one-liner, bios of your main people, the description of your DAO, or maybe you've been in the space for a while and you're at the point where you're trying to get media attention. So we determine all of those things. We map out a little timeline for the work. The project pays us the fee, and then the work begins. So like I said, we're very lucky to use DAO House because all of this, including our treasury, is done in DAO House. It makes it really easy for those of you who use DAO House to set up minions, collect payment, and just stay really on top of all of our treasury needs. So the structure for these working groups is that there's typically one group lead who is essentially the project manager of the project. So they handle all of these things, including collecting payment, working out a strategy to present to the project that wants services. And they also handle the payment breakdown between the members of YAP DAO. So this is our payment model. There's probably a lot of us in the space who maybe have come from working in corporations or working for agencies where, the agency is making a lot of money, but the individual members are not seeing that money. You're just seeing, a small salary, a really small percentage of it. So in YAP DAO, just like in Raid Guild, 90% of the payment of the money that's coming in goes directly to the DAO members. And then YAP DAO keeps 10% of it, which is held in our treasury. We use that 10% for things like website fees, if we want to sponsor an event, any DAO needs are taken care of, and 90% of the payment goes directly to DAO members. So what is a PR DAO and what is our value proposition? Why would you ever want to engage with a PR DAO? We know that the word PR can be kind of scary sometimes. But really what we do is we work out all of the messaging for your DAO. I like to say that there are, some of the most talented people in the world working in this space, but a lot of them are developers, engineers, come from computer science backgrounds. So if you can't explain what your project is doing in a simple way, then you're going to lose the opportunity for people to pay attention to it. Really good communications can be the difference between success and media placements. So we help with one-liners. We help you develop narratives, industry narratives that you can fit into. We help you write any type of materials. We help with crisis comms. In terms of the specific services that we offer, we help projects that have news announcements. So maybe you have a new protocol launching. Maybe you're partnering with someone in the space. We also help with feature stories. So maybe there's a trend, an overall trend that's happening, like even just this trend of DAOs as the future of work. We help pitch feature stories. We help just connect projects to the right journalists. So there's a lot of journalists and media companies out there who have a really big interest in DAOs. And there are certain members of the DAO or even certain DAOs that are just better fit to speak to these certain journalists. So we're all about connecting and making those connections. We help author op-eds, and then we also help with any internal comms, copy editing, tweet threads, things like that. So we're kind of like the final eye if you ever want someone to review things. We recently just helped a DAO copy edit their white paper. So it was a new DAO launching. They wanted someone, an expert to look at this white paper just for any grammatical errors. And that was a new thing that we did. That was really fun. It was just a very, small fee to one of our members to review the white paper and ensure that this going out into the world was ready and that it was, perfected as much as it can be for its audience. And so here are just a couple case studies of our work. So these are all news stories that came from projects of our DAO, as well as publications that they landed in. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a sense of, some of the narratives that we're going after, that we're trying to project into the space. So what are DAOs? The future of global organizations. This was a feature piece in Crypto Briefing. This Decrypt piece about Moloch v3 launching. This was a really fun one to do. We did this with DAO House, and we also partnered with people in Moloch DAO and a couple other projects because they were all building Moloch v3 during ETH Denver, and we wanted to kind of make a splash and go out to media with it. A couple of weeks ago, Pizza DAO was doing an announcement on Bitcoin Pizza Day. So we helped them go out with a story. It landed in Cointelegraph and a couple of other publications as well. And here's just a couple more case studies to show you types of narratives, the types of language that we're using when we're trying to, communicate the project's work to a wider audience. So this is an op-ed that appeared in Being Crypto. And this one on the previous page was also an op-ed. So trust this, Web3 will deliver on the true promise of crowdfunding. Again, this is just showing you the power of, taking an idea or taking a small news item, translating it, bringing it to journalists, connecting the DAOs with journalists, and then seeing the results. Not only is it good for basic stuff like SEO building and marketing and promotion for your DAO, but on a much bigger scale, this is informing the wider public all of the amazing things that are happening in the DAO space. It gives us a chance to connect projects with journalists and really show people the power of this new movement by working with great projects and helping them translate their messages. Cool. So I'm going to pass it over to other YAP DAO member, Clément, who is going to kind of give an update on where we are today from starting with 4 members last summer into where we are now.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mia. Actually, we are like around 14. I guess it's 15, if I'm correct, but not sure. We already serviced 9 projects, as you can see. We are still working with 3 clients right now, and as Mia had said, 90% of all the revenue goes directly to the contributors. Sorry. So we basically worked with Pizza DAO, which was one of the latest DAO we worked for. So we did for them like PR articles. We connect them to journalists. We also review lots of articles for them and see what we can, how we can push their events all around the world. We also worked for MoonDAO a couple of months ago, with Prime DAO, DAO House, as Mia said, and also Aladdin DAO, which is a DeFi DAO, and other DAOs. Oolong Swap on Boba Network, and the breakdown revenue model. So since for the first year, actually, we basically made 26K in XDAI, WXDAI, because we are on Gnosis chain. To to it 8 USDC and 10K USDT for the raw revenue of the year. And for all of this, like 10% goes directly towards our vault, the YAP DAO vault. Maybe could you, what's next for YAP DAO? So it's a kind of tricky part, and Mia will help me with this one. It's a kind of teasing. As you can see, YAP DAO was funded by YAP Global members, and today we want to have our own identity and to be like a real DAO separate from its kind of main entity, which is totally different from what we are doing because we work only with DAOs and DeFi protocols. And there's some new features, some new brand in the pipe, and maybe Mia, you want to add something about it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you see a lot of organizations out there take the route of progressive decentralization, where they're starting as a more traditional company or agency, and then they're progressing to a DAO. And our case is a little different. YAP Global is an organization that will, most likely always exist around the world. And YAP DAO is a very separate entity, although there is lots of crossover in the talent pool. So there's many people who are contributing to YAP DAO and also working for YAP Global, and then there's also plenty of people who are just part of the DAO who are just contributing to YAP DAO. It's a little ironic that our specialty is communications, yet we kind of shot ourselves in the foot by calling the DAO YAP DAO, because it did cause a lot of confusion in the ecosystem. People were like, what is this? Is it separate? Is it the same thing? Is this progressive decentralization? And it got to a point where we realized it's time to rebrand. YAP DAO is its own entity. We have people all over the world, like Clement is in Luxembourg, I'm in the US. We have contributors in Australia. We have a designer who's based in Singapore. And we really want our own identity. So we started a working group to start working on a rebrand, trying to come up with a new name, a new identity for ourselves. It's been really challenging, but we've kind of finally settled on something that we're really excited about. We'll be announcing it soon. So that's just kind of the rationale behind, deciding to move away from the name YAP DAO. However, our services will always be the same. Our contributors are the same. The structure, the schema of contributors keeping 90%, all of that will be the same. So stay tuned, and you'll hopefully hear about our new name kind of by the end of the summer is our timeline for this.
Yes, definitely. So how it's going, how it's working on, it's pretty easy. You have to, if you want to get involved into our DAO, you have to pledge 500 DAI membership into the DAO, and you basically are a member. But it's not only about the money. We want to have people really involved into the DAO industry, in the DAO ecosystem. It's more important to be really engaged into this ecosystem than rather wants to just pledge money to it. So we want people with kind of skills like PR, communication, marketing, or DAO, crypto, DeFi, or refi, because I guess we are entering the refi summer. So if you have those kind of skills, you are obviously welcome to join our YAP DAO team and work with absolutely amazing DAOs. We are a bunch of really cool people from all over the world, as Mia said. We try to meet every time we have the opportunity, like during ETC, ETHDenver, LeaseCon, everywhere in the world. So it's pretty cool. This is our work, and it's pretty easy. Maybe we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, and I guess just to note quickly about the 500 DAI membership pledge. So these are shares, or we're set up through DAO House. So if you decide to leave the DAO, if you rage quit, you get that 500 DAI back. So that DAI doesn't go into our treasury. It's basically kept in a separate pot. We're not using that money for anything. If people leave the DAO, you get that pledge money back. So that's just to clarify why there is the pledge fee.
It's more about like a commitment, and you can get back your money at the end if you want to leave. But nobody wants to leave YAP DAO. So where to catch us? So you will have the opportunity to catch Mia on DAO NYC June 22. You will be around New York City because there will be also NFT and NYC. So later in June, you can catch Mia, and you can catch basically like most of us during ETHCC in Paris, because there will be YAP Global, of course, and also the YAP DAO members. And as Mia said, like there's some kind of new things coming for late summer. So go to MCon and maybe you will see some amazing stuff. And do not hesitate to ping us, to message us. And well, yeah, that's basically how it works. If you want to work with us, just send a message, and when we can see what we can do with you. Sorry. And yeah, to finish, there's some kind of people that are, involved. There's more people. Like I said, we are nearly 15. So this is a couple of people working on Mia, Dylan, Max, Sam. There's many Sams, but this is a Sam, Clément, Martina, and go to yapdao.xyz or yapdao_ on Twitter. And we also have a Discord, but maybe it's easier to catch us on Twitter.
Yeah, our Discord, we don't really use our Discord. We've been thinking about potentially deactivating it. I don't know if anyone else has come to this realization, but we're much more active on Telegram. We also have a wider community channel on Telegram that you can use. And even if you aren't sure if you're ready for services, or you're not really sure what your needs are, just feel free to message us. We love talking about PR and comms, and we give out a lot of PR and comms advice, even if it's not the right time to work together. We're always interested in talking to projects in the space about what you're doing. And as Clément said, we'll be at some of these events, participating in some panels, hosting some workshops, talking about storytelling, discussing how to communicate the message of your project to a wide audience. And that is our passion and what we love to talk about. So our DMs are always open. And you can check out our website there as well.
Yeah, we should have been called storytelling stuff or something like that.
Yeah.
I checked out the Discord, and so it's good to know that the Telegram is more active.
Yes,
and that explains them. I kind of live on Discord myself. There's so much going on that it's hard to pay attention. That's one of the reasons that YAP DAO is so important, is that even like the builders, it's as you said, the builders are good at building, but they're not necessarily good at communicating all the important and amazing stuff that they're working on. And half the time you don't want the developer to be typing to people anyways, because we'll explain it like we're talking to another developer, and a normal person will read it and they'll be like, I have no idea what you just said to me. So I think mixing the non-technical skills with communication and what YAP DAO provides is critical to all of our projects.
Yeah, thank you so much. And a lot of what we do too, like maybe some of you have experienced this, where like a journalist or a media outlet or a podcaster might reach out to you directly on Twitter. And sometimes I'll just ghost write messages for people. So sometimes someone is like, hey, this person wants to talk, but I don't know how to respond, or like, how do I pitch myself? And a lot of what we've learned in our model is like just training people to learn some of these skills so that they can improve their own communications. Or like maybe there is someone in the DAO who wants to get better and wants to go out and pitch the DAO for media opportunities. So we'll just kind of ghostwrite messages and teach people like basic communication tactics. And like you said, like do all the work to have really solid one-liners and project descriptions so that you don't have to think about what you're doing. It's just ingrained in your brain. And in like 1 to 2 sentences, it's very, very clear to anyone what you're doing, why it matters, and kind of gives them that intrigue so that they remember you and want to come back if they're writing a story about anything that's relevant.
Yeah, I think that's really important too, is that a lot of times when we meet people, the first impression and clarity is so important. And so if we don't have a message that people can understand and digest when they first hear it, then we'll probably lose them, especially with today's noise level. So definitely a critical part of any kind of introduction. One of the amazing parts about what we're doing in these skills are now we're starting to get into more in-person events again. Building up your communication skills and refining this. As you say, like your one-liner is ingrained, right? You don't have to think about it. You can focus about the other parts that you want to talk about, and your message is still going to be kind of impacted. So yeah, definitely a critical part of communicating both online and in person. I love MCon. MCon is one of my favorite events because it's every person there is hand selected. I see you going to DAO NYC. Are you also going to be at NFT NYC? I believe it's the same time.
Yeah, we'll be in New York, or I'll be in New York all next week. So if anyone is there, let's meet up. We'll be in town and then participating on a panel during DAO NYC called Decentralized Media. So there's some amazing folks who are going to be at DAO NYC and in New York all next week. So really looking forward to seeing the community in person. That's always so much fun and so valuable.
Cool, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Cheers.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for coming on as well.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Cheers.